It's live stream day and we're back, and it's been a little while because I 2 weeks ago was actually in the US at Open Source, which is an amazing conference if you're someone who's into just making things and exploring, or robots. There were robots everywhere. It was crazy. But I'm back, and today
it's kind of like our house, robots everywhere.
Well, I mean, that's on you. That's not me. But yes, he does now have a, what's it called? Romo, the vacuuming robot.
Yeah.
So, and we have now a second one, so we're calling that Juliet, because Romo and Juliet.
Obviously. No, I was calling it Juliet.
Juliet, because Romo Juliet.
And Juliet.
Sounds like Gillette, like the brand. We have a lot of trucks outside today, lots of noises. Shane's got a squeaky chair, apparently. Lots of not squeaking now that we're trying to, This is what a live is like. It's very different to the main videos on our channel that we usually spend between 6 to 8 weeks working on. And those are a big organized story that takes a lot of work and a lot of thought. And this is like the opposite, where we come and I have coffee that usually goes cold before I get to drink it. And I have emotional support pickles now in case things get a little unhinged, and we have
things are already unhinged,
lots of things to unbox, and this is not everything. So let me catch you up on where we're at. First of all, though, let's say a quick hello to our members. Hello to everyone who's part of our wonderful YouTube membership, and for our Silver Plus members, we're going to have a little bonus live stream after this one. And you also have access to our Discord to hang out with us outside of live stream times. I do check on that every day. I don't always reply every day, but I'm in there very active, and it's a nice little group that we have.
We've got Dorothy, Terry, Caitlin, and Melissa, Alex, and Giari. I've definitely messed up your name.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. And Sophie.
And Sophie. So we've got a lot of our members here. They can all vouch for the fact that the membership's a lot of fun. And we all hang out a bit in Discord. They're all very familiar names now. And the live stream after this, which is our extended live stream, which sometimes becomes like an extension of what we're doing here. Sometimes it's something completely different. So like last fortnight, no, it would be a month ago now, we did a little unboxing of the Crayola alcohol markers, which is something I'm working on for a future video. But the members got the first look and my first impressions. So, but onto today's topic. This is part 3 of our unboxing every Ohuhu product ever. Now, what I have on the table is what we're planning on trying to unbox today. So this may be a little bit of speed live shopping, or this, I don't know, we'll see how we go. There is a part 1 and 2. So if you go into my live streams section on my channel, and we'll put a link in there at some point as well, in the comments, maybe, I don't know if Shane, I'm just directing wildly, so there may be a link show up. Maybe someone else can post it.
YouTube.com/SarahNayClark.
Yeah, go find my channel, go to live.
But this live and the other lives will be available afterwards to replay.
Yes, you can replay them all. So if you're kind of starting this from scratch and you want to see the whole unboxing in one hit, you feel like doing like a watch Sarah for 6 hours. I don't know, it doesn't feel like a very enjoyable process, but whatever. The first part, we actually went through all the Ohuhu acrylic markers, because there's a lot of different types of those. I have more of those today because there's more that have come out since that video. And then in the second live stream, we spent the whole live stream trying to decipher all the different types of alcohol markers that Ohuhu has, because I think there's like, my brain says 6 or 7, sorry, 6, 7 different types of brands with different tips and different color ranges, and we were trying to kind of like just solve the puzzle and work out what are the main differences. So that was part 2. This is part 3, where I actually reached out to Ohuhu and I was like, I know that you've sent me a lot of stuff already, but there's some specific things that I really wanted to try that weren't included. Can you send them too? And they did. They've been very wonderful to just provide me with everything, but I will say this is not a sponsored live stream. In the first 2 live streams, we had a few little mishaps in some of the products, which kind of just highlights that, like, this is a genuine impression for me, and I will, maybe try and be a bit gentle with Ohuhu, but I'm going to be honest if I don't like their stuff. But that's why, like, these live streams are great for that, because you are getting my genuine perspective. And I mean, if you enjoy unboxings like this, let me know, and we might reach out to other brands and kind of do similar things where it's like, look, you don't have to sponsor a video, but like, send me your things and we'll have a look together, because I think it's really helpful as consumers to not just see one of the products, like for example, we did 2 weeks ago, 2 live streams ago, we had a look at the Ohuhu acrylic markers, and these are ones, I mean, this is one of the sets I actually use. They're all missing. I don't know what they are. They're probably off with my other projects. And they're a marker I use a lot, and they did really well in our acrylic marker test and everything. But they have like all these other ones of the same one. And so rather than reviewing them one at a time, it's nice to kind of have a chance to actually see what's available to help you work out what the differences are. So I do have, let me start with actually the acrylic markers because they are right here. So I'm just going to pull out to show you the differences. And this is going to be a bit more of a quick comparison because we do have a pretty strict 1.5 hours time limit to work with. We usually try and make our live streams an hour, but I'm aware that this might go a little bit longer. It's also why I've got Shane on comments today again, because if I'm on comments, I get very distracted. And so I want to focus on this, and Shane will be my distraction by jumping in with his thoughts as it goes and jumping in with your comments. So please use the comment section as well, chat with each other, ask questions. They will come through me via the disembodied voice of Shane, as been told he's called. So this is the Ohuhu, which is one of the ones that we've already tried. And these are a direct ink marker. So by that, I mean they have this little panel in here. They are really nice. You need to shake them a little bit, but like you don't have to like pump them to activate them. And they're probably my favorite type of acrylic marker, this direct ink system. So a lot of brands are starting to do this now. And Ohuhu is one of them. And when I compared all the different markers, they were in, I think, the top 3 of all the different brands. We also have the Kalalu, putting my name pronunciation to the test with these. Ohuhu have lots of names for all the different things. These ones are a cotton core marker. So we've also done some really thorough testing on these. If you want to see that, there's a video on my channel that is not a live stream where I compared every acrylic marker. And we included both of these. So this one is different, where the inside is actually like more like a felt tip marker, where the inside is like a strip of cotton loaded with the ink that slowly funnels through here. It doesn't have that mechanism that this has that mixes the paint. So already you can see this is actually a little bit unmixed on the tip, but the more you use it, it kind of evens out. So again, they're not designed to be shaked, but it probably doesn't hurt to just, it's not going to do much. It's actually all floating in the cotton. It's not, the ink isn't loose. So it's hard to sort of mix it once it's done. These are quite thick compared to a lot of other markers like this, which is good because generally speaking, cotton core markers will hold a lot less ink compared to ones where the ink is just loose in the barrel. So these are also pretty good. They didn't do as well on my testing as these ones, but then we have all these other markers as well. And we tried these ones in the last video and I was pleasantly surprised. These are the Waikiki, and these reminded me a lot of the Artex had a marker that looks very similar to this, that had the same cap and this, and Artex's ones I really hate. And so the Simp Tap, they're called. So I saw those and I saw these and I went, oh no. But if you watch the video, the first part 1 of this little series, you'll see these were actually a really pleasant surprise and I really like how they came out. They are also, that one hasn't been activated yet. They are also brush tip. So I haven't activated them, but let me show you these ones. Let's give it a quick shake first.
The funny thing about those SimTap ones and those caps that you hate, is I'm pretty sure there's like a pile of them in the lounge room from when someone keeps finding them. They're just putting them up on the... So
the Artex ones all just fell off. These hold. These hold. The Artex ones are all loose. So I've got sets of markers and just the caps are all gone. But to activate these, you just press the end and you give it one big press. And then that lets the ink out of this big open section into this little barrel section here. And so with the Artex ones, it overloaded so much they would just leak straight away. Whereas these ones seem to be much better distributed. So you might have to give it a bit more time. So the first load might take a while, kind of like your pump markers where you have to pump it 20 times the first time and then one after that, because you are loading this for the first time. Shane, you're covering this up, but for good reason. Welcome to our new member.
Samantha was trying to work out where the membership thing and has figured it out and now has a blue pencil next to her name.
Welcome.
So welcome.
Welcome to our membership. We do need to come up with better names for our members rather than just like bronze, silver, gold, teal. That was supposed to be like placeholders when we first did it. Teal being my favorite color, so it has to be the highest rank. But like, it'd be cool to come up with names. This is almost loaded. This wasn't supposed to be what I was going to be spending my time on because we have already reviewed these, but you can see, here we go. Oh, get that. See how it's loading down there? It's because it is slowly soaking this up. So once it's all soaked in, that'll be a lot easier to then pump for the next lot. And then it acts more like these other markers that are always loaded. But it's really good opaque paint. So I'm going to close that and put the little cap on. So that's those ones. And these were all, we tested all these in that first video. So that's the Waikiki, the Kalalo.
Is the cap to like stop you accidentally pressing it?
Maybe?
It's
I
like
don't know.
An EpiPen.
Yeah, maybe.
Like a safety.
That's the only thing I can see as being the reason for having that. So these are all really good. What's interesting is that they have a lot more now. So, and we haven't tested all these yet. At least I don't think we did. I don't remember all these when we did the first video, so I think they've arrived since. We have Waimoku. We have Mornakia. We have
Nailed it.
Hanauma. Hanauma. I'm gonna go for. And then we have Akaka. That doesn't sound right, that one. Akaka. And then we have Waimomi. And we have, is this different? Yes. Kakaako. So, oh wait, we also have, not to be confused with the Nahuku, we have the Kahuku. So that's, count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more different types of acrylic markers after the ones we've already tested. That's a lot. And so I'm realizing we're not going to be able to test them all this video because that's like a whole video just in itself.
Ohuhu just left a comment on the stream.
Did they?
They said, can you please end the stream because you're wrecking our names so badly.
Don't be mean, Shane. Don't tease me. Get me excited and let me down like that. So let's have a quick look just to see if there's any obvious differences. We're not going to be able to do like a full comparison of them all because that is, well, what I will say is that I want to do another follow-up to my acrylic pen video because this is not the only company who've brought out more acrylic pens since that comparison. Because it's like an ever-evolving space right now, acrylic markers. So I do think, and I'll probably wait a little while before we start doing it because it feels like brands are really working on acrylic markers right now. I think it's interesting that instead of like really focusing on one, that they would keep releasing a lot. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think on one hand, it means you get a lot of choices. You get to find the marker that works specifically for you. On the other hand, there is that risk that are they rushing it and are they actually stopping and thinking through what people are wanting? Or like, I mean, their paint's pretty good, but I would like to see brands really focus on like improving the opacity of like the white pen, for example, because that's one that no one seems to do well. So seeing them work on stuff like that rather than bringing out more. But let's have a look at why, like what are the differences here? So this for a start is a jewel tip, I believe. So this is the Waimoku. Okay. So this one has a bullet and a brush. Ooh, I actually really like the barrel of these too. It's kind of like a nice design, a little bit different. It's got this like curved cap on the top. I don't know, Shane, do you need to refocus that camera or is that okay? Looks a little bit blurry to me, but I can't really tell. I think it's focused on the table rather than on the level up. So this one, oh, okay, so we've got another direct nib here. And that works really well. I don't know if that will be the same colors as the Nohuku or something different, but then we've got a bullet tip. Oh, that's a nice bullet. There are not many brands that have brought out bullets yet. And that is quite nice. It's soft, it's not like scratchy. So yeah, it's interesting that this is like, that one doesn't feel as opaque. I mean, if you know that a brand isn't opaque, that can actually work to your benefit because you can do really cool layering effects. I think it's just about knowing the different options. Okay, first impression of these, they feel nice to use. In terms of like a bigger comparison, it's a little bit hard to do quickly, but I'm curious, I'm interested. I would like to explore them more at some point. I do need just like something, do they have a little chart here even? their little black paper. I just want to see on the back of it how good the white is. Let's give it a bit of a shake. Because whites are hard to do well in terms of opacity. I think that's about the same as the white that's missing from my Ohuhu set. I think that's about the same. So it's quite possible that this is the exact same ink. It would make sense. Is this the same colour? Let's have a look.
Is it possible with some of those that the paint's the same, but it's just sort of like the ends and the pen itself that's a little bit different?
It's possible, yeah, because it would make sense that they would... No, hang on. Okay, they do have the numbers on them. So this is actually the same number. They're both RV08. So it would make sense that this would actually be the same ink, just in a different barrel. Ooh. It looks weirdly slightly different, but it probably dry the same. I think they're the same paint. So that's good to know that it would be, if this is true. Now remember, I'm only looking at one marker, so keep this in mind. But it does seem like they're probably using the same paint across, which does make it easier for like refills and stuff. It also then means that you can choose which sort of one you prefer based on the tips. My gut feeling just as an instant with these is that I think the top is actually probably the same. This one's just more loaded than this one, so I know that's a bit. But like the brushes, they feel like the same brush, I think. So what that would mean for me is that I would be very interested to try these, because this is a little bit easier to hold because it's a bit bigger. These are quite short, and it's the one thing that they feel quite small and light, whereas this feels a bit sturdier and it's just a little bit bigger, or that might just be the lid. Is it actually bigger? Yes. Ugh. But then you have to account for this cap. So maybe it is the same size, actually. Well, actually, this might be bigger, but then this is slightly wider. No, okay, this is slightly wider. So I'd be curious to know what the actual, what do you call it? The weight, the size, the volume is. Volume, that's the word I'm looking for.
Because the other one looks longer, but the plug might sort of be dead space.
That's true. And then the other thing is, this is a slightly thicker barrel than this, which is also, I think, why it feels nice. I like the feeling of this pen. It's also got the two separate sections, so if one end runs out, that won't affect the other end, because there's a line in the middle, so it's actually two barrels, whereas this is all one barrel. So if you're never going to use the bullet and you only use the brush, you'd be better off getting the one that's just the brush, whereas if you like using both, because you're kind of giving up half this marker to the other side. So that's, I guess, some thoughts on why you would pick one over the other. I like the feeling of these as instinctively, I like the feeling of them. As to whether they're a good fit, I guess there's some considerations for you to keep in mind. Let's see what's next, because we do need to keep this train moving today. We have
speed running
product testing. Oh, we're not going far. Whoa, what are these? Manokia. There's only 18 colors in this pack. I don't know if they have more than that. These are huge. Ooh, okay, so these are, I believe, the same. Now, where's the... Okay, I love that they have the consistent numbering. Is that the same as... Let's see. I assume that it's consistent between them. I'm just trying to find some where I can actually check. G115... G43. That might be something for us to figure out as we're loading all of these into our color companion to work out if they are consistent across them. It would make sense they would be. This is a giant paint pan.
That might be for like people who do sort of like graffiti style or...
So this, yeah, this doesn't feel like one... Most of the other products they have so far are really good, I believe, for books and coloring books. This is more like your classic pump action paint marker, which would suggest to me this will be better at things that aren't paper. Generally, that seems to be the pattern I've noticed. This is a much scratchier, firmer tip. But I mean, if you wanted to color big sections, it'll be great. But it's not going to feel smooth like some of your brushes and stuff like that. It's more just, I guess, if you're wanting bigger areas of the same colors, you do have a smaller range, I believe, overall. This is the one they've sent me. Most of the stuff they sent me the biggest of the options, unless they didn't have stock. So I don't know if there are other colors in this. But let's just this is taking a while to load. Not helping my speed running here.
While you're doing that, Sophie, one of our members, has asked how we're finding the Aussie winter.
Cold. It's cold. Not as cold as the winter everywhere else in the world, though. All right, here we go. Ooh, that lets out a lot more paint, which is what I would expect for this pump action marker. But that's so thick. I feel like you could grab another. Where's just a little cheap brush of any kind. Maybe Holly can that one down for me. Sorry, Holly. Do the job now, quick, go. Just any kind of cheap brush. Usually I would have some here, but we've been cleaning up, so everything is like everywhere. You know what? If there's none there... Oh, she's found some. Yeah, that'll do. Perfect.
And that 18 pack is all there is.
That is all there is. Oh, thanks for that. So I just want to show you, this is still wet, but look at how much paint that's given me. And that's just been sitting, so let's do a fresh one because that was just drying for a bit. There is a lot of paint here. So if you're wanting to do more actual painting, look at how much paint you get from that. That's so much paint. So that could be really cool if you're wanting to use them on bigger art pieces. But the good thing is, if I'm correct on my assumption, these colors will then match the smaller markers. So it can be a really good sort of, like, you wouldn't get these if you're doing coloring books, but if you're wanting to do like bigger art pieces, they could be a really good way to get down some base colors.
The design for a refill, like a big bottle that you can fill with ink.
Oh, so these are refillable as well. A few of these different marker options are refillable. I'm not sure exactly which other ones as well, but I know some of them are. And so you can buy refills that I think work across the range for the most part. The refills, if you go on the website and have a look at the refills, it'll tell you which of these they can refill. So if refillable options is important for you, have a look as a part of that. Let's move them on. I'm actually going to put some of this stuff out of my way because the pile up here is only going to get bigger. Whoop. We have, these are a bit different. What's this one? This is Akaka acrylic markers. Okay. Got my little fidget unboxing thing from Evan and Caitlin. I love it. Ooh, okay. So, it's always a lot of fun to clean up beside my desk once we're done. I do have a box here, but most of the stuff doesn't quite make it to the box. Okay, this one.
You say it's fun to clean up, but do you actually clean it up?
Hey, that's not fair. I usually do, unless I'm busy and then someone else does for me. Okay, so these...
Shout out to Holly.
Shout out to Holly. These are more like... Okay, my guess at a first glance is that they're going to be cotton core jewel tip markers. That's what they look like just at a glance. Let's have a look. That does look like a cotton core jewel tip marker, which means that they're sort of, I would think, more in the cheap end. That does not quite look like the same red. I think it's just one's more moist than the other. So these would be more comparable to the Kalalu markers in the way they perform. If you don't know what I mean when I'm saying cotton tips and what's the other one I'm saying? Direct ink and pump action. I actually explained all of that in the acrylic marker video that we did recently where we compared them all and we talked about the different tip types, which also will give you more information on like why you would choose one tip type over another. For example, the cotton tip ones like these are actually surprisingly good for rock painting because they've got the softer tip. It doesn't just like scratch and get damaged from the rocks, but they also, compared to the direct ink tend to be a little bit runnier. So these are really good for stuff like this. But then when it comes to layering and the thickness and everything, these seem to be better. So it's a bit like, there's pros and cons to each. These feel really nice at just a first glance. I find for the stuff that I've tested, I've ended up giving the dual tip cotton core markers to my kids because these for me feel very kid friendly and good for just coloring and stuff like that. Great for rock painting. They're fun. They don't feel as messy as a lot of the other markers. So if you're looking for mess free, these are a really good option. I do really appreciate that Ohuhu on all of their products have their color names and they have the different brush types identified. So that is a different type of marker again. So far all of these, I don't feel like are necessarily doubling up. They're actually my concern with all the different variety was that they were just kind of like trying new things and not actually considering what people want. But so far, this actually offers a really good range of different, like I feel like I could have done
Plot twist.
Well, I feel like I could have done my entire marker comparison video of like the different types of markers available just based on what Ohuhu have launched. Like they've kind of covered all bases so far. So that is the Akaka markers.
Melville has joined the chat.
Hi.
And has asked what they've missed. So we are going to start again.
We would for you, Mel, if it weren't for the time delay. We're just going through our acrylic markers because a lot more have arrived, even though that wasn't what this stream was supposed to be. Here we have Kahuku. Now this is a very big set. There's a lot of colours. These look more like the direct ink style again. Keep running into this plastic. I'm going to move it. There we go. These look like the direct ink ones again. They are. So the question becomes, would you buy the Kahuku or the Nahuku, and why do they have both? So this, let's give it a little shake. If this is like a new and improved version of this, I'll accept that because it is a little bit bigger. But then they're still selling this, so it's like, I don't know. I'm curious. So this is basically a bigger version of this. Look at that difference.
You could do a whole video on just like comparing and ranking Ohuhu's like markers.
That's true. The brush is different too. That brush is very slightly different. So I wonder. Oh, I don't know if I like that brush more actually. It's about the same. It's hard to tell. I feel like this is one I'd probably have to really use them for a while to be able to tell. They both feel good, the brushes. This one's just a different shape, but this is a bigger marker than this one. So I would be curious to find out from them. Like it's got these little extra features. I mean, they're very similar, honestly, even with the same font. They look the same on the side, but this one has the brush label. I actually think I prefer this design. Like if I was to just go off the barrel design, this one's bigger. I like that instead of wasting this time with the curved top, they've used this space to actually include the details of the name there. So I personally like this one more. They both have the clear window as well, which is really important. So I don't know, like this one does have a thing that says shake then enjoy, but this RV08 is actually like a sticker. So I think it was almost an afterthought where they realized they forgot to write the, I don't know, maybe they didn't think about that when they brought it, because this is one of the first ones they brought out. So I wonder if this is essentially the new and improved version of this. Without comparing all the markers side by side, I can't say for sure, but that's sort of my first impression. This feels nicer to me than this. The thing about these is I found because they're so small and they're so light, I found that it makes them feel cheap until you use them and then you're like, oh, they're surprisingly good. Whereas this actually feels more like what you would expect a quality marker to feel like. I know that sounds really silly, that like, but weight does matter a bit. There's something about it creates a stability in your hand when it's a little bit heavier. And I know for me, that seems to make a difference in my experience. I like heavier, not like too heavy. It's not heavy, it's still very light. But I like that it's not as light as this. This for me feels nicer. So curious if anyone has tried both of these a lot, I'd be curious to know if you found much of a difference other than just those slight design changes. If this is just an upgrade of this, that's cool. Otherwise, you don't need both of them, I think, in that scenario. They are the same product. What else have we got? We've got, surprisingly, more acrylic markers still. I've still got 3 other types here, which is a bit crazy, really. Hanauma. Let's put these aside. This is actually going to be a pain to sort later. All right. We're going to come back to these. If you watched the previous video, you'll know why. Okay. What are these ones? Sorry. Okay, so these are a little bit more of a fun novelty one. And again, it is a different type of marker to these, so fully acceptable as its own range. This is, oh, that didn't open how I was expecting. Okay, are they? Oh, they're on the string. Okay. Sorry, just my brain had to process that for a second. So these are roller pens. So I think the end will be more like a... Oh, no! What? I wasn't expecting that at all. I thought they were going to be like dot. No, it's a roller pen. It's a gel pen. But is that... Oh. Okay. All right. This is like the best. Oh, okay. This is like my favorite use of... I was not expecting this. It's an acrylic gel pen, which I've heard exist, but I've never tried one. It's a gel pen, but because it's using acrylic ink rather than whatever gel pens are made from.
The legends are true.
This is, okay, this might actually just be like my new favorite supply. I don't even use gel pens because I don't like gel pens, but look at that. Okay, this is, all right, well.
That's doing pretty well on that paint, because would that even be like fully dry?
It is fairly dry, but most even paint markers don't like to be drawn over other paint. It's the quickest way to clog them, and yet look at it go. It's just, I wonder if this is like the answer now, because I'll be honest, I don't like gel pens, but the reason I don't like gel pens is because it's so hard to keep the flow good like this. But if this is like the new way that gel pens are made with like acrylic gel pens, because I've heard a few other brands advertising them and I've wondered.
It's like a gel pen, but acrylic paint instead.
Yeah. The white, where's the white? Oh, yes. Holly's laughing at me because I don't normally get this excited about a product. Is it, if that I want to know. Okay, no, I need to pause for a second. I need to try this on a purple alcohol marker to see if the white can handle it without turning pink, because that's like the ultimate white challenge. And we did a big white pen comparison a while ago, and that was the crazy thing. So Shane, let's have a look at that for a sec. Show everyone while, see if you can watch it fade for a second, because that, I can move the shot if you need. I want you to watch that white fade while I get a purple alcohol marker from behind me. Okay, so we've just done this here. No, it's not totally in fade. There we go. That is looking really good for a white on a purple. But I've got over here, because these are the worst colours, generally speaking, for paint or anything to actually change colour on. So I'm just going to try this.
You're going to let it dry?
What?
You're going to let the purple dry?
A little bit. Pink, purple, and blue always are the worst culprits for any kind of like acrylic paint just like soaking in and picking up the colour underneath instead of the colour on top. So we'll give that a second. It won't need long because alcohol tends to dry pretty quick. And it's probably actually dry enough. Let's try it once, and then where did I just put that white pen? I've lost it. Here it is. Losing it right in front of me. Let's try one now, and then we'll let it dry a bit more, and then we'll try again. So I just want to try, because look, I would be very surprised if this doesn't change colour. But I'm hopeful. Okay, that's a good first sign. But then this, I would think, would be the same white paint as everywhere else. It's probably just that it's more concentrated because it's coming out in that fine point. So it does look like it's absorbing a bit into the pink, but actually it's pretty good. I'd be curious to test this against, like, actually, you know what I do have in my drawer here? I have an Arteza. This is a bit old now, but this is one of the ones I tested that did pretty well for keeping its white for just a normal gel pen. Streaky. Let's see if we can get that rolling properly. Have you ever seen that new trick for making your pens roll better? You pull out the end. Doesn't work in this one. You get the end out, and then you shove something else in to kind of repressurize it, like a bit of blue tack or a kneaded eraser, and it comes out just like crazy good. Probably not great for the pens long term, but for a short stint, you get a really good gel pen, and it works. I do have, there's my white one. No, that's Artex. Okay, so for comparison point, whoa. Okay, lucky. That was not supposed to happen. Well, okay. Artex just lost some points on that. I just want to give another comparison of a different brand of something. That is not fun. Okay. And then I wanted to find, where are they? My jelly roll. That's what I wanted to find, because these are usually a very good jelly ink white. But looking at that already, oh, that, I don't know how much you can see that. Okay, the pink, the white is turned pink. But on the purple, it's actually held its own really well. And compared to the jelly roll, which is one that a lot of people know as a reference point, if we're trying to look at this one on this side here is the jelly roll, and this one here is the Ohuhu acrylic roller pen. They should call it acrylic gel pen, because I feel like that would be much clearer as to the market that they're competing with. But despite that being pink, this is a thing that does happen with most markers. That is more opaque. It's not much, but it is. So if you use the jelly roll as a reference point, which is pretty opaque when it comes to a gel pen, it's one of the better ones.
What's the name of those Ohuhu ones?
They are called Waimumi. Let me pull this up. So I do think these would be worth trying. If you like gel pens, I think these are worth trying. I am not someone who's explored a lot of gel pens. If anyone has any recommendations in the comments of other brands that do acrylic gel pens or do gel pens really well, please take their opinions higher than mine, because I'm not someone who uses gel pens. But this kind of solves the reason why I don't use gel pens, so I probably will use these. I will probably keep these close by and actually use them for like coloring pages and stuff, because it lets you do fine details that paint pens can never quite do. And I actually, thinking on this just a bit further, so a lot of brands, when they do the fine acrylic paint pens, they do the plastic tips. And actually, I hate the plastic tips, but they're also the only way to get a really good fine tip. I'd be curious to give these some time and use them for a bit and see if, because it's a rollerball, if that actually stops the blockage that almost every other fine tip has, because it essentially might have solved that problem by being an acrylic roller tip compared to just a fine tip acrylic. I don't know if you know what I mean by that. I mean like, whoops. I mean like these ones that used to be one of my favorites for white pens, where they have this tip here. Let's see you there. It's like a plastic tip, but these, I mean, that's already blocked from the past use. Let's see if I can get it working again. I mean, look, most paint pens, as long as you use them fairly regularly, they're going to keep working. This has been sitting in my drawer for a while, so it's probably not a fair comparison. It's probably the same with gel pens. It's like one of those things, as long as you keep it moving, it'll never fully dry, and so it'll keep working, and it kind of cleans itself as it goes. But if you let it sit for a while, it's going to eventually crust over. I'm just trying to see if I've made it leak. Oops. I guess that's the other thing, that the roller tip could never do this, where it's like I've literally over pumped it, and so now that, in my effort to declog it, is going to clog that way worse when it dries again. But I do just want to see, because this is a pretty good white that's acrylic white. See if it does the same pink thing after a bit. Bad reference point, because I'm making quite the mess, but let's just see. So that, I'm putting the lid back on that, knowing that that will be the last time that pen ever works. It's okay, I have a few of them and it's really old. I think these are great. Big fan.
I think others do too, because they're sold out worldwide.
Sold out worldwide. There you go. When they come back, Sarah's seal of approval after first impressions only.
Run, don't walk.
I'm not even putting them in the box. I want to keep them out. Okay. Next we have the Kaka'ako. These names are messing with me. At least they found a way to make them fun and different. Oh, these look totally different. You know what these remind me of? We have somewhere. No, but they're alcohol markers. These remind me of the Let's Resin alcohol markers, just by the shape. It's a really weird shape. Okay, what's our prediction? I'm predicting this is going to be a bullet, like a, not direct ink. I'm predicting it's going to be pump action, because it's got a pretty big sound to it. Yeah. Okay, so these, let's have a look at them, is the tip that I just described hating, but it's bigger. So, oh no, it's not bigger. It's just, oh, well, there you go. That's the tip, right? So that's on that side. And then the other side, you have the big synthetic, like, I don't know what this stuff is made of. I generally don't like markers that use it. Although this one doesn't feel as dry as a lot of them feel. But I find that these types of bullet tips, I don't know, like they just for me feel scratchier than something else. There is some crazy construction happening outside.
Is it like felt?
It's not felt. It's stiff. It's almost more like a plastic, but like corn or something. I don't know. Like whatever it is, it stays firm. And it's not soft. I would probably prefer it be felt, but maybe that would rot over time. I don't know. So this is going to be more like your bullet tip, which I don't think they really have. So again, it's different to what they have. It kind of fills the last hole in the categories of paint pens. They've actually just covered every category. So I thought, because I know with the alcohol markers, it sort of sometimes feels like there's not a whole lot of differences. I expected a lot of these to cross over more and was like going to be polite about it, but not that impressed. But instead, they've actually covered all different things. So it really is about working out what you're looking for. Maybe there's an opportunity for us to make like a blog post about how do you know which one to buy based on the differences. So that actually works pretty well straight off the bat. And then the fine tip, the thing with pump action is they'll usually work really well the first time, and then over time they sort of jam up and stuff. So it is a little bit hard to say for sure, but I mean, good first impression. I would assume these are refillable, but I don't know for sure. I will say, compared to all the other markers, I'm just going to move on from that for now, because it is like it'll work. I'm just impatient. The one thing I will say is I don't like their choice to go black here when everything else that they do is these beautiful like whites and even the light grays. This is the only thing I've seen in their range, including the alcohol marker range so far, where they've opted to go for black. And I just don't, it doesn't scream Ohuhu to me. Like if I saw this on a shelf like this, I would not expect it to be Ohuhu. Whereas all of these, like you pick this marker up and you know it's Ohuhu even without seeing the logo. There's just something about this particular white, shiny white that they've picked. And then on some of them, they've gone for this slight gray as well. And I think there's something just about that I really like. So I don't like the black, but curious to see what other people think. And yeah, pump action, it has a really good purpose for like less so coloring books, but more so if you're wanting to do like other craft and stuff like that. But overall, pretty good. I think, no, so the last marker, last acrylic marker, and then we can move on from acrylics, because that was actually what the whole last live stream was about, and we've kind of just doubled on that one again, is these refillable Hana Uma. Now, the reason that I wanted to bring these up again is because we had quite the incident with these the last time we used them. What happened was, in our previous video, that I prepared these, they were brand new, straight out of the box, I pulled them out, I gave them a shake, and then we used them, and they leaked out this end. So I have actually gone and taken these to Ohuhu and asked them what the deal was, because if you open this end, you can see that's the refill lid. But this lid, you can see the white paper through it. It's not a solid lid. It has holes. So what's happening is, if this ends up even slightly unscrewed, it's basically creating a complete opening. So when it's tight, it's sealed. When it's even slightly loose, all of a sudden you end up with all kinds of paint that comes out. I probably shouldn't do that, trying to get it to leak, but then it leaks and it makes a big mess. And the problem is it's not the end you're expecting the paint to come from. So as I discovered, the paint is everywhere that you're not expecting until it's kind of too late. So I spoke to Ohuhu about this. I actually know from some friends, they've since reached out to some friends and asked them if they've experienced similar. So it's something they're actively aware of and actively working on. But I did, when I was talking to the person there, we had a bit of a play with them and I worked out a way that you can get around this, because these are otherwise, like these are again a bullet pump action tip. But so for me, they're kind of like, they do the same thing as a lot of other ones, but the refill is an exciting part of this. If you're wanting to use these, my advice is every time you pick them up, if you want to be safe, or at least when you first buy them, you need to, because these, you need to, let me finish my sentence, you need to stop and tighten them first use, right? Because I suspect what's happening is as these are traveling and they're going in aeroplanes and land and different areas, the pressure changes that they would be experiencing in that transport means that these are probably just loosening naturally. Whether they are tight enough when they come out of the factory, I don't know. But either way, by the time they get to everyone here, they're just, that one there, I've just tightened. So that one wasn't fully tight straight from the packet. So I think that's something to keep in mind. Let's see if another one is the same. Yeah, so again, not much, but that one I was able to tighten. So I think when you first get them, give them all a tighten, and then they should be fine. So that's kind of the tip for these. It's not, whether it's a product fault or not, I don't know. I think as long as you're aware, that's what happens. Again, that one was actually quite loose, brand new. So, and you can tell it's brand new because I've never actually pumped them yet. If you go and tighten each of them when you first get them, you shouldn't have any leakage issues. So that was an interesting follow-up from the last video, but that finishes out our acrylic markers. Look at all these different markers that they have. That's kind of crazy, but it's good to know that actually there's very little repeats here. We are just dealing with a range of options. So that's cool. And I do know that this still isn't all of them. They have already told me that there's another one coming out that they want to send me. So we're not doing part 4, but there is more.
If you could choose only one of those, which would you choose?
Okay, based on, I mean, it's hard because I've been actively using the Ohuhu, and so it would be my go-to out of just knowing what's safe. But if I didn't know what I know about that one and I had to judge this, I would personally probably opt for this dual tip one that was the Waimoku. This one is the direct ink, which I prefer, but it has the 2 different tip options because I do find every now and then I kind of wish I had just a fine tip instead of that. So I actually really like the idea of that. Second to that, I'd probably just go for the brush tip version. No, that's the same one. The brush tip version, like hoping that it's an improvement on the one that I already like. So that would be probably my second choice. Assuming that these are both as good as this, because I really like this one. I also think I would absolutely, now trying to work out the difference between them. This one's the roller pen. That for me is a win. It's kind of a separate category. The rest for me, I think it really just depends on your use case. But for me and what I like, they would be the ones that I would end up using the most. And probably the ones that from all of this will sit in like my side drawer as compared to sitting away with our other art supplies.
So what are the names of those?
Again, we've got Waimoku acrylic roller pen. We've got Ohuhu, which is the original acrylic marker they made, the direct ink. Then we've got the Kahuku, so the same but with a K, which I believe is an updated version of this one. And then we have the Waimoku, which is the dual-ended direct ink, which there are a few other brands that I've tried recently that do a dual-end direct ink like this, and they're slowly becoming my favorite option. It's just whether if you're not going to use both sides, you are halving your ink by going for that instead of something else. So that's it for acrylic markers. Let's move them on somewhere because there's more stuff.
While you're doing that, there's someone in the chat who's popped in just to mention that this is an ad for Ohuhu, probably paid.
We did say that at the start. I appreciate the opinion. This is not a paid thing at all, unless you count the markers, which, look, they did give me all of these markers for free, but the markers also don't pay my team and pay my bills, and once we do most of this, we end up giving most of the markers away, or they just get used in videos because I don't need this many art supplies. They haven't paid me anything beyond that, and I'm always very big on let's try to review these honestly, even if they're given to us. We do accept brands sending us things. There are very few brands that we've ever accepted actual money from, and if we do, we'll always let you know. Be very transparent about that. I think it's important to make any potential bias known. It's also the law.
And we also let them know that they don't get any editorial
they also
control,
like,
which is why this is live, so they can't really review it.
This is live, so if I say something they don't like, it's like, whoops, sorry, it was live. Like the exploding marker that we found a few times ago. They don't give us any talking points. They don't, like, we make it really clear that if you're sending this, you're sending it at the risk of me hating it. Which has happened, but today's, they're doing pretty well today. Okay, so acrylic markers, we're gonna mark as done. I have a lot of other things left. How are we doing for time, Shane?
It is 10:49.
Okay, so
been going for 50 minutes.
We can do this. Okay, so speed running. What's left? Let me explain to you what's left. First of all, I do have here a bamboo paper that I've been told about. What I'm a bit confused by this though, coming from Ohuhu, because this says for use with dry media, but pretty much everything Ohuhu makes, except for like their colored pencils, are wet media. So this for me is a really odd pick, but I want to try that. But I might put that lower on the priority because the other stuff I have here is 4 different types of water-based markers, not acrylics. We're talking water-based. So coloring books would be the main focus of these. So I want to try these because we have ones that I've used a lot in the past. So this set, let's start here. Just to finish up. So we have that. We also have 2 different watercolor pads, which again, they don't specifically make watercolor markers, but you could use the watercolor pad with the water markers to get better results. And then to end up over here, I've got some different gift set options of some different collaborations they've done with artists. So we'll try and see if we can get through all of that. So this one is actually a marker that I've had for a long time, but they've sent me a bigger, newer set. Ooh, these are the Ohuhu Maui. I don't know what these, like, I think they're Hawaiian names if you're supposed to pronounce every letter or if you blend the letters together. Because in English it would be Maui, Moi. Whereas in some languages, like if you were to read this like in Italian, you pronounce every vowel separately. So that would be Maiui. So I don't know. If anyone knows, let me know. So these are a dual tip water-based marker. Now, water-based being completely different to alcohol-based, there are some pros and cons, and I have a whole video about that from almost 2 years ago now where I did an ultimate marker comparison of alcohol markers and water-based markers and watercolor markers. And it was a 2-part series, and in the first part I explained the differences and actually also how you can use even markers like these or even like your Crayola Super Tips as watercolor. So these I actually really like as just a general marker. I guess a comparable thing, if you're trying to find another brand to compare them to, would be the Tombow Jewel Brush pens, which I have behind me here. These particular ones that I've grabbed are quite faded. Oh, it's probably because I'm using them on the alcohol paper. So paper makes a big difference on these. So using these on the alcohol paper, they don't come out as nice. What you actually want for these is a watercolor paper, which we do have here. So let's grab. We've got 2 different watercolor papers, hot press and cold press. I'll show you the difference quickly as we go as well. And while I cut these open, Shane, do we have any questions or comments on all the paint stuff?
According to Alex, it's pronounced Moe.
Moe. Okay, so the U's almost like a W. Moe. Thank you, Alex.
And Caitlin said, I just got these markers for my planner and loves them.
These ones, yeah. So these are great for the biggest incentive to buy water-based markers instead of alcohol markers is not the blending or the use or anything like that. In 90% of cases, alcohol markers are going to get you better coloring results. However, sorry, just side note, I love that they have these little protective things to stop the book getting damaged. That's just good packaging. These won't bleed through the paper as quickly as alcohol markers. The catch being that if you use them for too long, they will wreck the paper. So alcohol markers, why did I say that way? Alcohol markers won't damage the paper, but the color will go straight through. Whereas these, if you're light on layers, they won't go through paper. Most paper, thin paper, they still will. But like our swatch decks or our coloring book paper, actually swatch decks is a bad example because alcohol doesn't go through that either. But the coloring book, for example, you can use water-based markers. But if you do too many layers of these, the water will damage the paper. So it's kind of like, there are pros and cons to both. I do recommend, if you're unsure of the difference, watching that video that we did of, what was it called? Something about like, everything you know about markers is wrong or something. Because I really showed how you can actually use just simple textures, water-based markers to create really cool watercolor art. Okay, so the difference between our hot press and our cold press is actually something that's going to be hard to show on camera, but let's see. So the cold press has a lot more texture to it, and the hot press is usually quite smooth. The best way for me to show that is with a pencil. What do we got? Grab a pencil from my stash over here. Ooh, I don't know what pencils are in here, but this will do. So here we have a color pencil. So if I was to just lightly draw on this, you can actually see the texture a bit there. I'll try and do a bigger section so you can see. So that's the hot press. It's actually still a bit more textured than other brands that do hot press. And then the cold press, I probably picked the wrong color, didn't I?
If you move that box to your left, I can probably get the other angle.
All right, let's see. There we go. Oh, there you go. Now you can see the difference. So the cold press has a lot more texture than the hot press. So I am personally a really big fan of hot press for things like colored pencils and for most art. Cold press is really good if you're wanting to add a lot of moisture or if you like the texture. So when it comes to like watercolor painting, I find the cold press tends to be a little bit nicer, but they're both technically watercolor paper. The watercolor paper is the best if you're wanting to use water-based markers rather than marker paper. Marker paper is designed for alcohol markers. Water-based markers are better on a water-based paper, which is paper designed for water, which is what your watercolor is. So you can see here already, even just this little bit here, it soaks into the paper quite differently. The cold press probably isn't great for your markers over time, but where's my... Can you see there already? That was on the, see the color difference? Where this has absorbed the color, whereas this kind of left the color on top a bit because this paper is designed to be able to blend and things like that. Whereas the watercolor paper absorbs the ink. Same with alcohol markers. So if you use an alcohol marker on this paper, it's gonna sit on the surface more. This is the blending paper, which allows you to blend two colors together better. Whereas if you use that on the watercolor paper, you're going to get a deeper color because it soaks in, especially on this one. Wow, look at that. It's like double the darkness, but this will also use a lot more ink and it'll be a lot harder to blend the colors together because it all just soaks straight through the paper, as opposed to this where it'll sort of sit on the surface and the alcohol won't dry as quickly. I don't know if that makes sense. So these, I'm not going to show you these a ton right now. I'm just going to move these out of the way.
So is there a reason why you would want more texture? Does it hold more ink?
That's actually a question I don't know the answer to. I don't know. I haven't really played with them enough. I found in my own experience, being very little experience with watercolor, this is probably a question for a watercolor artist. The cold press I found feels like it warps less if I add more water compared to the hot press, but that also might just be using different brands. So the difference between the two is probably more of a preference thing. Some people love the look of the texture. Now, colored pencils, it's a pretty strong texture, but then you've got to remember you've then got opportunities with that color to add like a solvent or something like that. Even using an alcohol marker to fill the gaps, you're going to get a very different result to the pencil that just sits on the very top of the paper and doesn't go in. So different things will have different results. And I think it really, between the hot and cold press, probably is mostly a preference thing, but I also am not a watercolor expert. So these pens I actually used in the video. I did print out the little results from them. So when I've done all my tests, I always create these little charts for the different brands. So the alcohol markers with Ohuhu, as much as this doesn't look like a perfect score, this is actually one of the highest scores when it comes to alcohol markers. So they ended up being, I believe, the winner of my alcohol marker video. If not, they were definitely top 3. They work really, really well. The experience overall is amazing. Tip quality is great. Really easy to blend. This will look, now it's a different comparison, so it is hard to kind of see them up against each other. But the difference with these water-based ones is that the overall experience, I can't even remember what that was judged on. You'd have to watch the video. They're not as easy to blend, but that was still pretty good. They layer on themselves a bit better. The color accuracy is referring to the tip versus this. And a lot of brands with alcohol markers in particular seem to really struggle with that. I think I'd like to see them try a bit more. I think the other ones I've seen do that really well is actually Olo with their alcohol markers. They have matched the tips a little bit better. These are more likely to streak, which is also just any water-based markers will do that. And then the moisture levels and the tip quality are a little bit different as well. But these did rank, so the Ohuhu, these ones, I'm not going to say Maui, is that how we said it? The Ohuhu journal brush pens.
There was a long discussion in the chat about how to
pronounce it.
Everyone is as confused as you are.
Good. So these ranked, I believe, in my top 5 as like alternatives to Tombow dual brush pens. And I did say that other than the Crayola Super Tips, which had a smaller overall color range anyway, that these were the best affordable option if you're looking for something and don't want to spend the big money that you have to spend to get the Tombow dual brush pens. These weren't much less in quality and in what you could create, and they ranked really high. So that's where they sit. But I haven't ever seen these other ones that they have. So they have, let me just open this because it's noisy.
While you're doing that, Aussie Crafter has joined the chat and loves your jumper.
Ah, yes. Well, Aussie Crafter, you can buy a matching one from Target.
Big W.
Big W, not Target. Big W in Australia has these Alice in Wonderland shirts. I bought this because Holly was wearing one. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. She's like, yeah, they're from Big W. I'm like, would it be weird if I went and bought the same thing? And then we ended up with 2 matching jumpers because we also found a Gilmore Girls one that we both liked. So we're kind of twins.
This is just an ad for Big W. They probably paid you.
Probably. Don't tease. It's a fair assumption for people to assume that. But okay, so these I was curious about because these are pupe or poupée. I don't know what they want to say, how they want to say that. But these are, what did they describe them as? Paper friendly, tear resist. I don't know, something. No, the other ones are paper friendly. There's another one. These are just other water-based markers. And so I wanted to know, why are they different? What is different about this compared to what we've just used? So, because for the most part, they look the same. Oh, no, fine liner. Oh, that's cool. Did these ones have a fine liner? I don't think so. Yes, they did. Okay. So now I don't know. What? It says paper friendly, but I feel like that's probably the same as these. So I'm not really sure, other than being, again, a little bit heavier, they feel a little bit nicer. Is it the same as these, or are they actually a different product? I'm not really sure. I think we probably need to run them side by side a little bit to actually figure it out. And this is where the good quality paper is probably not helpful, because you can have good quality paper or good supplies. You can have, no, the other way around. You can have bad paper or bad supplies, but you can't do both. Because good paper will make bad supplies look good, and good supplies will work on bad paper. So if we want to actually test these, I need just like printer paper. I don't know if we have any accessible.
What about good supplies on good paper?
Well, that's just the best option, but also for most people a bit too expensive. So it's like, if you don't you either upgrade your supplies or you upgrade your paper. You don't have to do both, but yeah, if you're trying to find a way to save money. All right, Holly's on a hunt for some just normal paper. While she's doing that, we do have this other one, color markers, paper friendly. So this one doesn't have a fancy name, and so I don't know if this is just maybe a cheaper mark. It even feels different. They feel like they're not from, like even the black feels softer. See, like you can just. So I'm not sure if these are the same thing, just marketed differently. They actually do look like the same. Maybe this is exactly this marker. It just, thank you.
You're welcome.
It looks identical, even down to the color. Oh, it is the same. Okay. So these were marked, okay, so just to clarify for everyone, these were just marketed as paper friendly, whereas these are pupe. These are the same thing. So that's important to know when you're shopping. The paper friendly markers are, there's one set of them. Okay, so let's grab some paper. And what I want to do is just actually, the paper friendly part is really that if you do more than a few layers, seeing if it starts to tear the paper. So that's what I want to test here, and just do one against the other. Just, it's the only test we're going to run for time's sake.
While you're doing that, Scott Sava has joined the chat.
Hey, good to see you, Scott, and good to see you die. Like, lots of people joining today, which is awesome. Okay, so these look like the same colour. So we're going to compare these two. And what I want to do is essentially just do like a, what do you call it? Layer test, right? So we're going to do one layer and see if they perform any differently or if they're basically the same thing. That already on the second layer is the paper's not very happy. Okay, that one is handling the paper a little bit better. I've used the cheapest, thinnest paper possible so that you can see, although look at that. So that one's going through quicker, but this one's tearing the paper quicker. So that's interesting. So they are different, I guess is the first thing. That paper is gone. Okay, there is a valid difference. Okay, so I don't know how well you can see that. Can you see that from the other angle? I don't know if my stuff's in the way again. Let me, okay, yeah, you can see it better from here. Where's the focus point on this, Shane? Forward, back, there?
Around there.
Okay, so this one is the original one that they've had for years. And I think if we compare it on the back, so this takes a lot longer to bleed through the paper. Now this is thin 80 GSM printer paper, and that's 3 layers before that started to go through. So that's like a water-based marker. This one's gone through the paper quicker, but when we flip it over again, it has not damaged the paper, whereas this one has. So this one hits a point, and if you keep doing this from here, you just get all this like really, like it's destroying that paper from there, right? Really bad. Whereas this one, it seems like it will eventually, but it's taking a lot more to do the same thing. So that's, I guess, the difference. I don't know how that's different. It's almost, this one almost for me reminds me a little bit more of an alcohol marker, except that they're saying it's water-based. That's not the right lid. That's the lid. So I'd be curious to explore these poop ones more, because actually that for me feels like it'd be a better marker for kids, because kids do this really quickly, right? They color way too much in the one spot, and that is a really interesting problem that they seem to have somewhat solved with the pupe markers. So I, by the way, don't have prices for any of this. So a lot of these judgments I'm making, if you look at the price and they're like 10 times the price, obviously you might choose differently to what I've recommended. I'm just going off the basis of the actual products themselves. But given that this one ranked really, really well in my color test, I would be interested to see, and potentially in the future run those same tests on this one and see how it actually holds in all the other testing, because its advertising point is that it's paper friendly, and like even then, even though it's done a little bit of damage after like 6 layers, it's nothing compared to that. This is all paper, all that blue. That's crazy. That's all just paper that's come off. So yeah, that is an interesting discovery with those. So that's these ones. Paper friendly. So yeah, something new is always fun. I'm going to put them away because I don't know how much time we have left, but there are a few other extra little things I want to show you before we run out of time completely.
It's 10 past 11.
Oh, okay. We're going to have to hurry up because I have an appointment after this. Okay, so I found another set of alcohol markers because we've tested every version of Ohuhu alcohol markers already, but this one we haven't. These are low odor washable alcohol markers. That feels like that can't be possible. So I just wanted to know what they feel like overall, because it is low odor. How does that compare? Okay, this is, my brain's ticking. Just don't mind me sniffing markers for a moment. Don't do this at home. Cleansing my palate. Slightly less. That one's stronger, but not much. They're not that, like, you have to get pretty close to notice these. They're not that much less, but they are less. They smell less. The washable thing's interesting to me. Like, if they worked out some kind of halfway... Holly has input. What?
They've got like a demonstration on their website. They've got like a t-shirt and they've coloured it like crazy, and they claim that it will wash out of a t-shirt, a white t-shirt.
Okay.
And with on your hands, it should be with water. With clothing, it should be with soap.
Okay. I guess then my question is, and I'm probably not going to have enough time to answer this today, but like, I think about, so this is blending paper. What are they giving up in order to make the alcohol not like, well, that's not a good color to try and blend. These are the original Ohuhus, right? And you can blend them even if you do what I did and just put down 2 colors that are really not going to blend. They're not as good as blending as like a few other brands, but they're blendable, especially on this kind of paper. I wonder if you lose some of that with these. And the 2 colors I've got here are probably a little bit more forgiving than what I've just tried. But these feel almost more wet somehow, if that makes sense. They still blend well. But like the tip is bigger. That's not the right tip to compare it to. That brush is thicker. Can you see that at the base of the brush, how thick that is? And it feels really nice to draw with. But I wonder what you're giving up in order to have this extra feature of it being washable. I mean, I guess if the aim of this is that it's a more kid-friendly alcohol marker, then maybe they've got that figured out a little bit. But whether it'll be as nice to colour with overall, I don't know. It doesn't feel like the other alcohol markers. It's like softer. But it still seems to blend well. You know what I'm actually really curious about? How this would compare to the new Crayola alcohol markers, because I wonder if, although they are not low odor, I will say they stink. But I'd be curious to see, because this for me reminds me of them in a little way of it feeling a little bit more washed out somehow. It's hard to say. They're a lot, no, maybe I'm imagining that. I think because they're a matte barrel, they feel lighter, but I don't think they're actually lighter. I think it's just because it's matte, it feels lighter somehow. So these, I think I'm going to have to play with a lot more to work out why they're different, but they're not bad. Like, if you are looking for something that's probably more of a kid-friendly alcohol marker, these might be the answer to that. If they wash out the way they say, they're low odor, so they're probably less toxic. I don't know how many colors they have. This is a 36 pack. Is that the biggest they have, Holly?
It looks like that's all they've got.
So that's all they've got. But I guess, yeah, if you're looking for something that's more kid-friendly, that actually might be an option for that. So that's interesting. And then to finish up, there's a few last little things I wanted to show. First of all, I asked them to send me these because I saw these and I was like, I really want some. These are extra wide alcohol markers. I have not seen extra wide alcohol markers since Copic used to have them years ago, but they stopped making them, I think. Maybe they have them back, I don't know. There was a time when they stopped making them because it was sort of like not enough people wanted them. But recently there's been all these trends with adult coloring where like you color the whole background and then you come in, like the blueprint effect, where you color the whole background in blue and you come back with a paint pen or a gel pen and do all the details on top. And for a page like that, I found that it was one of those times that I was really happy that Ohuhu have sent me lots of markers because one page would use up a whole marker. And so I would use 2 or 3 blues and kind of like blend them over each other to try and fill the page. This would be so much better because these are just giant markers. Although, where's the color?
In the barrel, I suppose.
Yeah, but like...
I think you've got to brace it. Are they all the same?
All right, let's open some others because that's...
You've got to brace it, they're all grey.
Let's have a look. What's some extra wide? Okay, we've got different tropical vintage. That's a fun name. Let's have a look. Because that says light sea blue and mint wisp, but like, surely that's like, that almost looks colorless. So I want to see if they all look like that. Okay, here we go.
I never kind of look through the
Ah, yeah, no, that's a bit disappointing actually. They feel cool. They feel a bit weird to hold actually. That's a really hard to hold because it's really thin, but really like chunky. So it's sort of, you can't really hold it well in your hand, but But there's no reference. That's really unusual for Olo to not have any reference on the actual product of what the colour is.
Ohuhu, not Olo.
Did I say? I'm sorry. Thank you for picking that up. Really unusual for Ohuhu.
There's little stickers.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. No, I see. Okay. So
swatch it.
you use this, you swatch it, and then you stick them on. Okay. I still would rather have it on here, but I guess that's actually more accurate, so it's not a bad idea. Check out that tip. That is a very cool tip. Whoa. That's also not the colour I thought I was going to get, which is why you need to swatch them. Oh, that's so cool. So that's actually creating a thinner layer as well. Like it's not as heavily coming out as what you get from like the brush tip. But that creates a really nice line. I would love to create some art just with these, just creating lines in different colours, because they're coming out a bit lighter, so you can see that really distinct overlap. So I feel like if you treat them like that, that could be really fun. If you're going to fill a page, you're going to have to do a few layers. But it's still probably a better distribution of ink compared to trying to fill a background with a brush marker. So did I put that on the right way? I don't know. I'm assuming you probably want it that way. So they're really cool. Is that a different end as well? It just looks... It looks like there's like another tip, but I think I'm imagining.
Is that like a refill point?
I don't know. Ooh, they're very stiff lids. Ooh. Oh, that's pretty colour. No, that's a very, very light colour. It looked a lot more green than what it came out. It's not dry. It is there. It's just way lighter. So definitely need to swatch them out. I actually think I'll have a lot of fun with these. I am glad they sent them. I wanted them to send them for our last colouring book video because I did want to use them on some of the big backgrounds. But I do think I'll probably do another video like that again soon. And so I will definitely find an excuse to play with these because they just seem like an interesting thing to me. I definitely need to use the stickers though, because looking at all these looking the same, even the words are all the same, is not working for my brain. But that's cool. They have a few different, there's not like one big set of these. I've got here 4 sets. I don't know if there's more than that. That's all of them. So they have 4 different sets. We've got, and I'd show you the colours, but I can't. So we've got grey, tropical vintage, sky glass, which are those lighter colours, which makes sense because a lot of the time when you want to fill a big area, it's like colouring a sky. So it makes sense for them to have light tones. And then Halcyon Oasis. I have no idea what that colour range would be. The website probably has a little bit of a description of them anyway. So that's those. And with the tiny bit of time left, I do want to show you these little giftable pack options because I'm really curious. As someone who loves making things that are fun to unbox, I want to see the collabs that they've done because I believe there's a few more still coming out. This one is just a quick little colouring set. So I think this one isn't a collab, it's just their own product. Where did I put my knife? Everything's flying off the table. There we are. So let's open this. I love this little knife, by the way. Very satisfying. Okay, so this one is a cute little colouring set. So it's got 12 markers inside. Let's have a look. The packaging is fairly simple. I think this one was fairly affordable. Oh, actually, I underestimated the packaging. Look at this. Oh, this is cool. Okay, so you have this little... I might just get rid of this big slab of gross stuff underneath. All the random swatching. Okay, so here we have... This is the Nalu colouring set. Okay, and this is actually like... just like a little suede thing. Oh, look at how pretty that looks. That's cute. So you've got all your different colours here. These are, oh, they're mini. They're little. Now I need to get that paperback to try them. Are they alcohol? Yes, alcohol markers. So they're mini alcohol markers. These you could even like, these remind me, I used to have some Sharpies that had the holes like this. So you could actually like put them on a keychain. You could actually put them all on a keychain and just have like a little ring of colour, which should be fun. But they're also very cute in here. You've got some little pockets here. I don't know what you would use those little pockets for, but then you've got this little cute colouring book. So that's fun. Let's open it up quickly and have a glance. So Oh, no, mostly blank. So it's more of a sketchbook. Sketchbook with a few pictures. There you go. And this paper, I don't know what kind of paper this is. It feels like a thinner version of their water-based paper, which is an...
It's 200 GSM mixed media.
Mixed media paper. Okay. So it's not going to be good for like blending, but good for just general art. And it'll be fine with the alcohol markers, but they probably won't last long on that paper. But you could always switch this out and cut up your own little sheets of like alcohol marker paper or find a mini colouring book or whatever. It's a cute little gift. I think the idea of this is not for someone who already has all the other Ohuhu stuff. The idea is as a gift for someone who maybe needs to take this somewhere like hospital visits or something like that, and it's a compact little thing. So that's very cute. Then we have, sorry, excuse me, I should have a sip of water. Then we have the much bigger options that are both very exciting. There are three here actually. So they've done a collab with Jade Summer, they've done a collab with Bobby Goods, and they've done a collab with Coco Wyo, which is over here. So let's start with one. The Bobby Goods, I believe, was the first one. So let's start with that. This is a really cute little pack. The thing I like about this is they've actually worked, these three artists or companies that make colouring books for adults, and they're all very much in, well, actually Jade Summer does quite a bit of variety, but Coco Wyo and Bobby Goods are very much the bold and easy style, and the sort of Huga, I think it is, right? That style that is really popular right now. And Bobby Goods is the person that I believe is credited for starting that whole thing. And this is a bit stuck. It got stuck on the blending sheet. So this is cool. This is for underneath between your pages, and it's cute because it's Bobby Goods. So this is like a really good just giftable option. And I'm guessing that they've worked with Bobby Goods to pick the color range that is best suited for this art. So this is a 48 set. I think all three are 48 sets. So they should, I would assume that it'll be similar prices, but I don't know. But it's just more of a little personalized thing. This particular set is markers and just things that are a little bit more personalized. It's not actually, there's no coloring book in it. So it's just a cute little thing. If you're a fan of Bobby Goods, I guess that's a nice little thing to have. Or if you're wanting a gift for someone else, that's a really cute little option too. And you could probably pair it with a book or a couple of books of Bobby Goods as just like a nice little birthday gift or something for someone. So let's put that aside. The next one, I do want to not get them too mixed up. Then we have Jade Summer. So Jade Summer have been, it's actually a collective of artists that work together, and they've been in the colouring industry for years. So they've made all kinds of different colouring books, back from the sort of like really intricate art when Johanna Basford kind of started the trend back in 2015. They've been around since then, and now they're doing a lot of the bold and easy style and the cute and cozy and all that kind of stuff as well. So this set is actually in a beautiful big case. This feels like more of a serious set. It's still 48. I think in all of these cases, they've used the Honolulu B, which is actually my favorite. It's the ones I have here. No, this is the Honolulu. Sorry, you're wrong. I'm wrong. Honolulu A is the chisel and the brush. I believe Honolulu B has the fine tip and the brush. Let's just double check that. So this is more like a whole kit to keep you going. So you've got actually I really like the range that they've chosen here. If you're looking for a 48 set, let me see if I can show you this in a better way. The color range they've got here is a very good range. I don't know about this compared to Ohuhu's normal 48 set, how the colors work, but I actually think this is a really good range of colors. And the Honolulu B is the fine tip and the brush tip. Okay. So I, for a long time, would have preferred this. I'm now starting to use the chisel for the first time in 10 years of using alcohol markers. So put that in backwards. So I do think the Honolulu B is a really good option for most people. And I actually think most of what you can do with the chisel, you can kind of do with a brush, whereas a fine tip, it's a lot harder to do consistently. So for coloring, it makes sense to use this rather than the chisel. And if I hadn't already had all the others, this is probably where I'd start. They also have in this little set, so they have these little just swatch postcard type things, which is really cute. They have some stickers, sparkly stickers. It's a bit fun. And the color swatch is a bit more just like, rather than just the generic, they've added some pictures, which is cool. And then they have this colouring book that is a spiral bound colouring book, and I'm going to guess it's single-sided because Jade Summer know what people want. Oh, what have I done? There we go. Whoop. There we go. So the good thing about spiral bound means that you can work on one page at a time. I've never done spiral bound for my colouring books because I like the hardcover look, just personally, but this is a bit more practical. Oh, they've got the protective corner again. And I do think it's interesting though that they've chosen a mixed media paper instead of an alcohol marker paper. These all are perforated so you can tear them out. So it really is like project pages. And this with the spiral I think would actually be really good as like a traveling kit, which is what this probably is aimed at. So really cool option, really cool gift option for someone. Again, if you already own a lot of the Ohuhu, you're not going to get, I don't think, you're not going to get new colours in these ranges. You're going to get the same colours that you have elsewhere. That goes in there. Sorry, I've got this all upside down. The good thing about this is you could actually, once you're done with this, or if you wanted to take something different, you could fit another colouring book in there quite easily. So that's a pretty cool little bundle. I think, again, if you're someone who's doing like colouring at the hospital for different things, something like this would actually be really nice to carry, and you've got a really good range rather than trying to take all of your other sets. I can't quite get it closed though. That's, ugh. The zipper's a bit stuck. And they've actually, okay, I don't like that. They've actually stuck the thing in. Oh, there we go. Got it. So that's that one. And the last thing I want to look at, and I believe actually is the last thing that they have sent that we haven't yet opened. So we did make it. It took 3 videos, but we made it. Is the Honolulu Bee Coco Wyo collab. So lots of collabs at the moment, which I actually think is really good. I think it's good to get. One thing I will say that I love about Ohuhu, and as much as they do bring out a lot of supplies and a lot of people feel like they have to buy them all, and it really, like, if you've got full set syndrome, this is a big challenge, right? But I do love that they clearly listen to their audience, and that they're working with people that their audience loves. I think that's a really good thing. This is like something else. What's going on here? This is like a whole big box. Whoa. I will say, this and the last one are really big for what is 48 markers. But this is cute. So this is a hard, this is a hard bound thing. Not hard bound, hard case. Ooh. It's quite cute, actually. Okay, so we have this very cute box with a handle. Is that leather, possibly, or like a fake leather, vegan leather? We have this. It goes like this. There's been a few that I've seen, a few boxes like this lately, and I don't know if they're supposed to turn into stands.
Yep,
Maybe.
it's a stand.
It is? How? Surely you're not.
Bend that top bit back.
Really? Oh, you said I don't like the idea of that because I feel like that.
Forward, maybe. So forward and then into the front. Yeah.
Like that. Oh, okay. Yep. Hey. We did it. And it's not going to just collapse on me. No, it's pretty good. Okay, that's pass. That'll pass. So that's actually quite cute. And I mean, look at. I will say, when you open a box of Ohuhu as a first-time user, the colours are everywhere. They're in no order. And that is actually really like, it's disappointing when you open it and they just don't look as like fancy. This is like a beautiful rainbow. And so this for me is actually like, if you're to gift this to someone, this feels like a much nicer sort of first set. Although the colours are pretty much all pastel. Without swatching them, it's hard to say, but it doesn't look like a lot of variety in each row. I don't know if I can get you a closer shot from the side, maybe. It's not, no, we need, that's all right. The colours here are not as, there's not as much variety. There are a lot of pastels, but I feel like for the Coco Wyo style, that makes sense. I'd be curious to actually look at these all swatched out and see how much colour range there is. But the presentation I like the presentation. And then we've got in the front here, what have we got? We've got more stickers, sparkly. And we've got another cute swatch sheet. This is very similar to the Jade Summer one. We've got the sheet to put behind. And we've got, Cozy Colouring Collection, Coco. 40 classic favourites and 5 exclusive new designs with Ohuhu. So they've picked, so these will be, if you're someone who's like collected all of their books, these will be probably familiar. But that's cool. I think this is a really fun gift.
Apparently that's mood themed, the book.
It's what?
Mood themed. There's a little like mood check-in on every page.
A mood, mood trackers. So like how you're feeling is, or maybe what you think of your page when you're done. So that's really cute.
Pair that with the pickles and it's perfect.
All this is missing is some emotional support pickles. This is my new favourite thing. And this brings us to the end of part 3 of what have been 3 crazy big live streams of unboxing Ohuhu stuff. I do want to thank Ohuhu again for sending all of this. And I will be asking other brands to do the same because I think it's been a lot of fun. And just to finish up, I'll tell you a little story about these pickles. Because we bought these for fun because they're adorable and because everyone needs emotional support pickle from time to time. But now my kids have discovered them. And my youngest one day accidentally upset his big brother. And he's like, comes over and he just goes to his brother here. And his brother smiled and they made up. And it was adorable. And so the emotional support pickles work really well. I just think they're cute. They make me smile, which I guess is what they're supposed to do. So on that note, I hope this was fun. I will come back and check through some of your comments. So if you're watching on the replay, please keep leaving comments and I will come and read them and see what you think. And let me know if there's other companies that you'd like us to reach out to see if we can do like big unboxings like this. Let me know too if you like these big unboxings or if you prefer colouring along or if you kind of just like that we mix things up and try something different each time, because live streams for us are a really good opportunity to do stuff that we wouldn't necessarily do in a main video, and it's a good chance for you to experience things firsthand with me. I do think I also want to explore some completely new art forms in the future live streams as well. So I hope today's been fun. Thank you for joining me, and thank you to Holly and Shane for all of their extra contributions. And yeah, we'll chat to members in probably 2 hours today. We'll see how we go. We'll do a little extra member live stream. For everyone else, thank you. It's been good to hang out.